You know, for a few years, there was this series of cryptic puzzles that absolutely captivated and, let's be honest, completely confounded some of the internet's brightest minds. It was this wild global scavenger hunt that mixed together everything from cryptography and steganography to literature and philosophy. So today, we're diving deep into the story of Cicada 3301, which is without a doubt one of the most compelling and enduring mysteries of the entire digital age.
Okay, so picture this. It's January 5th, 2012. This image just appears on the infamous online forum 4chan. And the message is simple, almost ominous. Hello, we are looking for highly intelligent individuals. To find them, we have devised a test. Now, for most people, they'd just scroll past. But for those with a certain kind of curiosity, this simple invitation was the beginning of an absolutely incredible journey. A cryptographic treasure hunt that would pretty soon span the entire globe.
So, what was this all about? Was it some kind of recruitment tool for a spy agency like the CIA or MI6, a secret society, or just the world's most elaborate prank? We're going to follow this rabbit hole of clues left by this, well, mysterious organization and see just how deep it really goes.
So how did this very first puzzle really challenge the internet's army of sleuths? Well, the message said a clue was hidden in the image itself, not just written on it. And that one little detail immediately pointed the cleverest users toward a very specific technique for hiding data inside a file, steganography.
Right off the bat, the first step wasn't about looking at the image, but looking inside its actual digital code. Now, steganography is an ancient practice, but here it was, being used in this super modern digital way. Solvers knew they had to start peeling back the layers of the file itself to find anything.
And boom, there it was. By literally just opening the image file in a basic text editor, solvers found this hidden phrase referencing a Roman emperor. This single line of text was the key, and it was pointing them straight toward one of the oldest cryptographic methods in all of history.
The clue was just brilliant. See, Tiberius Claudius was the fourth Roman emperor. This was a massive hint that the code used a Caesar cipher with a shift of, you guessed it, 4 characters. You apply that simple key to the string of code, and what do you get? A URL. The game was officially on.
But come on, the Caesar cipher? That was just a warm-up. The next phase of this thing just exploded into this complex, multi-layered chase that completely blurred the line between the digital world and the physical one.
The puzzle was already getting way more complicated. This duck image, which is now famous as the dead-end duck, was a total misdirection. The real message was actually back in the original image, and you could only get it out using a specific piece of software called outguess. So this wasn't just testing logic anymore, it was testing your technical know-how.
And from there, the trail just went nuts. Solvers had to decode Mayan numerals, then apply a book cipher to a text about King Arthur, and piece together clues that were scattered across Reddit. The sheer breadth of knowledge you needed was just staggering, and it all funneled down to a single, mysterious phone number in Dallas, Texas.
Calling the number gave you a recorded message, which was, of course, another test of lateral thinking. 2 of the prime numbers you needed were hidden in plain sight this whole time, the width and height of that very first image. So you multiply 509 by 503 by 3301, slap it.com on the end, and you had the next URL. This led to a website with a single image of a cicada and a countdown timer. You can just imagine the anticipation building.
And this is the moment the whole puzzle just broke through into the real world. When that timer finally hit 0, it revealed a list of GPS coordinates. Suddenly, everyone realized this was not just some clever person sitting in their basement. These coordinates pointed to actual physical posters taped to lampposts in cities all across the globe, from Warsaw to Sydney. This was a highly coordinated, global operation.
As you can imagine, communities were forming online to collaborate on this, and Cicada sent a very clear message. They were watching, and they weren't too happy about all the teamwork. This was a competition. They were only interested in the individuals who could lead the charge, not the people who were just following along.
So what happened to the very, very few who actually made it to the end? What was the grand prize for solving one of the internet's most difficult puzzles? Well, the curtain was about to be pulled back just a little bit.
The finish line wasn't some public webpage. Nope. The final clue led to a hidden service on the darknet, which meant you needed the Tor browser just to access it. This move really reinforced the group's intense focus on privacy, on security, and on anonymity. Only the very few who navigated the entire puzzle were granted access.
A few weeks later, the winners got an email, but it wasn't a job offer from the CIA or anything like that. Instead, it was an invitation to join a think tank of like-minded individuals.
They described themselves as this international group dedicated to ideals like liberty, privacy, and security, and fiercely opposed to censorship.
So what was their first task? To work together on a software project to help protect whistleblowers. But the project kind of fizzled out. As solvers lost interest, they started dropping off one by one, until eventually the private site just went offline. No explanation. For the winners of 2012, the grand mystery just ended in silence.
Cicada did come back in 2013 with an even harder puzzle, but it was the 2014 challenge that would mark a huge shift in complexity and tone, and that's what led to the mystery's current stalemate.
Okay, get ready for this, because the 2014 puzzle was an absolute beast. It started with literature, moved into art, and then just dove headfirst into seriously high-level cryptography. Solvers had to crack an RSA key, a task that took one team about 12 hours of raw computing power. Then they had to find and reassemble these corrupted image files and use binary operations to merge them. The technical bar had just been raised to an incredible height.
And the prize for all that work? It was access to pages from a book called the Liber Primus, which means first book. It was written entirely in this runic script that Cicada themselves had created. This was basically their holy text, a book filled with their philosophy, and it came with this stark warning to the reader to question everything they read inside it.
And that, right there, is where the trail goes cold. While a few pages have been translated, most of the Liber Primus is still a complete mystery. No new public puzzles have been released since 2014. The world's greatest internet puzzle is, right now, unsolved, just waiting for someone, somewhere, to finally crack the code.
With the trail completely cold, all that's left is speculation. So who was behind this incredibly complex global puzzle? Let's take a look at some of the leading theories.
So, who was really behind it all? I mean, theories range from a government recruitment tool all the way to just an incredibly elaborate prank. But the evidence seems to point most strongly toward a group of cypherpunk activists. Their stated goals, privacy, liberty, their use of tools like Tor, their opposition to censorship, it all aligns perfectly with the cypherpunk movement. Plus, a key clue even pointed to an old cicada.berkeley.edu mailing list, which was a known hub for these exact ideas.
But, beyond the mystery of who they were, Cicada 3301 left another legacy. While the creators might have wanted the best, not the followers, the puzzles accidentally created these vibrant, supportive communities of people from all over the world, all united by a common goal. And for a lot of them, that was the real prize.
In the end, the puzzle just remains. Cicada 3301 vanished just as mysteriously as it appeared, leaving behind a whole series of questions that might never be answered, and a book of runes that is still waiting to be read. So I have to ask you, what do you think the ultimate purpose was? The mystery, for now, is yours to solve.